All right. So you're flirting with AI technology to come up with a whimsical jingle for a intro for They'll Never Make It, correct? You're tinkering with
Well, that and like Nostradamus, that we're gonna, he'll be making his presence known here. I actually made one for Nostradamus recently, but why? What have you done?
Okay, I haven't done anything. I'm not taking credit.
Is this
anything.
TikTok? Are you finding these on TikTok? These are amazing.
Okay, so I am 100% not just dipping my toe in, not just waiting. I'm diving off a 10-meter fucking platform, 30 feet into. They're taking these rap songs.
Oh yeah,
from our fucking youth.
Yeah.
Like, this is "Lose Yourself" by Eminem.
Oh, I've heard this. I've heard Snoop. I haven't heard this yet.
But he's broke, he's so stagnant. He knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again. You own this old rhapsody. Better go capture this moment and hope it don't pass on you. Better lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it, you better never let it go.
So, not only am I laughing, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, this is good. Like, this is good stuff.
Okay. I will have to. All right, fine. I will top you with this then.
And I had to say, but there's a coworker of mine new within the last 8 months, Logan, who's 23, 24, who's much more involved in this technology. He gets it. And when I showed him this, he was cracking up. Like, wow, you're absolutely right. Kudos to him too. Logan gives me a lot of tips on, how to better the marketing strategy. He showed us Opus. So,
well, I will say this. This, I believe, no matter what happens this November with, of course, the presidential election, that this will be the song, the theme song for 2025. This is John Denver singing Black Sabbath's War Pigs.
Bodies burning as the war machine just keeps right on turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed, evil little minds. Country road.
I had a playlist from it, and let me see here. This is the very beginning of that "Lose Yourself," by the way. Hold on. But just because I got high. Of course, too many people are watching. It's got an ad.
Oh, I know. God forbid.
Still messed up, and I know why. 'Cause I got high.
It slaps, man.
It's so good, and I don't know where I hope. Okay, at the end of the day, if AI,
I feel guilty.
For what?
I don't know. This isn't produced by anybody. No human did this.
But they did, though. And the reason it hits you is because when the song first came out in its original, purest form, the lyrics meant something to you. I know, because I got high. We laughed, We chuckled, right? But it still had and we were at that age where, don't tell people we do these things. We had an emotional attachment to it. And we still do. And then to hear it done in a different style, yet to still find that attachment to the song, we love it. We love it in all forms. I feel like that's what I found with it. There's a bunch of Snoop Dogg songs sung by Hank Williams Sr. I'm like, Jesus, gin and juice. Sipping on gin and juice, laid back, my mind on my money and my money on my mind. It's still good. It's still amazing. And it just goes to prove that no matter the genre, a great song's a great song.
You're right. You're right. I guess guilty is not the right word. I guess it's just the more I click, the more this shit's going to come out. And am I feeding into something that could ultimately be destructive to society?
Well, I don't know about this. if that's all AI did, it wouldn't be destructive to society. It would just allow us, but it does pigeonhole art. But I still
Okay.
think, but see, then again, though, the artist's mind still has to decipher the quote unquote art. Like I was making
You
a bunch
can't
of
you can't make. I think it's like you can't make the soup without the ingredients.
but I feel like AI is figuring out the ingredients and what makes us like the soup. And
Okay.
the more it marinades, the better it's going to get at these things. But you still have to appreciate it and like it. And if it still has that wonky feeling to it, you're going to discard it. So I guess what I'm getting at is like eventually I think there's going to be two types of artists. There's going to be AI generated musical artists that know how to like type in the right prompts for the AI to go out and find what is pleasing. And then there's going to be the naturalists, of course, who still play the guitars and the music. But those people that still play the guitars and sing live and all that, they're then putting the ingredients into the world that the AI has to harvest to then come up with its new shit. Because AI ain't going to come up with it on its own. It's just going to go harvest what humans have already done. And there's a lot of great shit that humans have done. And when you
Yeah.
put all those ingredients together, it's still good. And I guess that's my point, is that if you wanted an R&B song, you'd say, I don't know, a song about a hit and run on the highway done in the style of Michael Jackson. And so
Yeah.
it's going to then like, I was driving down the street. Ow!
Jimmo.
Shimona, I hit a guy, knocked him right off his feet. You know, like it's gotta, but the ingredients still have to exist.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. It just and I'm that came upon me Monday morning. Don't know how. It was like I tried not to get up and immediately grab my phone. I tried to do a certain amount, brush my teeth, get myself ready, get a little bit of coffee in me, come down and edit the show or bits or whatever before I open my phone up. But yeah, Monday morning I found that Lose Yourself, and I was just fucking. I don't know. There's also I wonder if your brain's ready to laugh that much that early. You know what I mean? Like, are you that awake? And I kind of thought to myself like that's even more kudos to the genius of it. The genius that doesn't even really exist.
Yeah, there's also like guys that do. There's a guy on TikTok who does like live, like people will send him prompts like, play this song. I don't know, like the Carpenters in the style of Slipknot. And it's like, oh my god, how do I do this? And they do it, and it's great, and it's really good. I don't know. I wish this is all AI was going to be utilized for, but the problem is it's also like, okay, we've got a targeting system and a
Yes.
long-range missile. Now the human can put it here. What can you do? Oh, okay, I can put it here. You know, it's
They didn't. Okay, the creators of Terminator 2 didn't foresee this. Correct.
Yeah, they did. They saw no. James Cameron definitely foresaw this. I think what makes James Cameron an amazing director of science fiction movies is the fact that directing films was his hobby that made him money. Because you got to remember, James Cameron was the first person to get to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, the deepest point on Earth. So he's an adventurer. Obviously, he's got like some sort of scientific background. Whether he's got a degree in it or not doesn't really matter. Like there was a time where people just consumed knowledge and knew things, and they didn't have to prove it with a piece of paper from a fucking university. So I think that James Cameron's kind of a futurist, and I think he sat in bed, probably got high as fuck, and wondered what would happen if AI took over. Because isn't his argument still the main argument of why we shouldn't put this shit online?
Was that his argument?
Well, Skynet.
Yeah.
Skynet was the Department of Defense came up with a computer program to allow computer systems to take over the entire network, like streamline it, make it centralized.
And eventually, the artificial intelligence will deem that we are the problem.
That the only thing that causes war is humans.
Human element, yeah.
So if I take out all of the humans, then there will be no more war, creating the biggest war that humans have ever seen.
So we need to sabotage it. We need to throw it in a pit of lava.
Well,
All of our phones too. It needs to be like a Fahrenheit 451. But no books, just phones, routers.
I don't know. I don't know.
Modems.
I will say that as far as like I don't dabble in Chat GPT as much as most people, but I don't use Siri anymore. I can tell you that. I go straight to
Okay.
Chat GPT for anything I'm looking for because it gives me.
Were you becoming suspicious of asking Siri for too much stuff?
No, it was that Siri was giving me like Google search results
Okay.
and answering from that, where Chat GPT would just answer the question pretty much. It would almost like if you have you used Chat GPT at all?
No.
Dude, in your line of work, I would ask it as many fucking questions as you can. It's not always going to give you the answer that is right, but it's going to steer you in the right direction.
Okay.
Because your question might be wrong, but then you realize it through the answer that like, oh, let me ask it different. Let me ask it this way. And then you realize that you're looking at it all wrong. Because if your initial question didn't give you the right answer, you know to ask a different question that your train of thought's off. And it's one of those things. If you could use technology like this as a partner, it's good. But when the thing becomes the thing, the source, that's when we start to, I think we're going to start having some real issues. They did this with fighter pilots, by the way. They put, for a long time, fighter pilots were like 50-50 against AI and simulations. Well, they put the technology in actual jet fighters and sent humans up to dogfight. We can't beat them now.
But there was what was that? There was a movie with Jessica Biel. I'm trying to remember. Remember that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, they were they were tailing, not dogfighting, but they were working with an AI fighter jet, and she was in a blue bikini.
I feel like I'd remember that.
Shit. It's a terrible movie. It's a bad movie.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like I think it's called Stealth.
Oh, Jamie Foxx?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
He
didn't
gets
watch
killed.
that. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that and I was like, no way this will be good.
There's something like the someone was saying that there was a part of it where like the AI guided fighter jet ought to do this because of, and they rattled off the percentage, and then the other male lead was like, that's not enough for me. I make up that other percent. I'm the best in the world.
Han Solo, never tell me the odds.
Yeah.
Right? There's always a chance. I mean, look, again, we the problem is that we don't, as humans with countries like China and places like that exist with no scruples, no fucking mores or morals or ethics, like so we have to make it. That, by the way, that's Elon's perspective, is like, we have to make it and be in charge of it, because if they make it and they're in charge of it, we're fucked.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Speaking of bait, like, I thought this is a totally different conversation. Are you familiar with, because we just wrapped up the Summer Olympics in Paris, abandoned venues in well, not just
In
Beijing,
China? Yeah.
but like Athens and Sydney and a few others. You're familiar with this, and because people have whole YouTube videos about dedicated to like just rummaging through abandoned venues from Summer
absolutely.
Olympics. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're fascinating because it's like they've been taken back by nature, and it's wild.
Yeah. So I watched this video. I went down the rabbit hole, and I've known about this for a while because Summer Olympics, for the most part, aren't profitable. And the IOC tries to use this like legacy. Legacy is the key term or the buzzword for why a city should host, because it's like, hey, we understand that you're going to occur certain financial costs, but the legacy will then, years afterwards, tourism and certain other things will stimulate your economy. And okay, so 1968 Mexico, there was a bunch of protests, but within the city while the Olympics were happening. Munich, I don't know if you're familiar with the
Oh, we're familiar.
yeah with the the slaughtering of like 12 Israeli athletes, and then Montreal, they went like I think it was like $267 million over budget to build certain things, and they basically the IOC was like, you wanted it, we granted it to you, fucking figure it out, and they lost tons of money. Then they didn't mention Moscow, and I don't know why, but LA stepped in and said, yeah, we'll host in '84, but the thing of it is like we're just going to use a bunch of our own infrastructure that already exists. We have the Coliseum, we have dorm rooms, we have two Division I colleges and a plethora of other schools. We can use their dorm rooms, their pools, their arenas. So actually, LA made money,
Right.
and then it went right back. They said that it went right back to that old method. Now, fuck this past Olympics, only two cities threw their name in to host, and it was Paris and LA. They gave it to Paris, and LA was like, yeah, we'll take the next one. So like cities are like getting wise to not pissing away fucking hundreds and millions or billions of fucking dollars.
Well, China didn't care because they wanted to put themselves on the stage to say and I'm not trying to be like controversial here, but like we're a normal country, we belong on the world stage.
Sure. Beijing is on the up and up.
Yeah, we are a modern society that people should visit and want to be a part of.
And listen, and I'll even they hosted a great Olympic Games. 2008 was incredible.
And the opening ceremony was fascinating. It was culturally fascinating. I find it funny. I find it odd and funny when you see, okay, the opening ceremony for the Paris Games this time around was odd.
Sure.
It was strange. I was not offended by it. I just thought it was weird, and it did cause me to not watch a lot of the Olympics at first.
It's this weird thing of art meets life, and then to people like I don't know about you, but someone like myself who isn't the most art inclined, when I look at that, I'm like, all right, that's not art. That's just you being fucking bizarre and trying to force feed art down my fucking throat to an opening ceremony. Why can't you just have fireworks and all the goddamn athletes in there?
Well, it's almost like you're mocking me for not quote unquote being cultured.
Yes.
Like you're making like almost like, well, you just don't get it. Like, no, I get it. It's just weird. And if you
Right.
want to be weird to be weird, I don't have to like your take on things. Like you're right. I'm not your special Parisian extraordinaire. He just does not get it. He does not like foie gras. Like, yeah, you're right. I don't like fucking geese that are fucking stuffed to their gills with funnels to make their livers explode. You're right. I don't appreciate that delicacy. That's not my thing. It's weird. That's weird.
Yes.
What you did for your opening ceremony, that was weird. What I'll say about China was it was very robotic, but there is something interesting about watching that many people in unison. It's a hive culture in China. Fall in line. That's their culture. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but it's not very welcoming, but it is fascinating to watch. It's like watching The Machine. It's like watching AI create something. Like, I don't think you could get that much rhythmic unison from any other culture, no matter how much they practiced. But over there, it's this diligence, and it shows you something about that society that you can't see in another society, and that fascinates me. And I'm not putting any opinion one way or the other about who China is or what they are, but it's just that's their society. I don't know what it would look like. What would our opening ceremony? I don't know.
You're gonna find out in 4 years.
I don't know. Here's a point though. I don't know what our opening ceremony is going to look like.
Gotcha.
I don't know what the American culture appreciates as like art right now. Like we're so fucking divided. I guess it would depend on what city's hosting it, what person's directing it. It would all depend on, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, we got a lot of culture issues going on in this world right now. If you okay, let's put it this way: if you had an opening ceremony in Montana, that ceremony is going to look far different than if you have it in San Francisco.
Right. Yes.
How do we mesh like those two
This is
worlds?
this is the United States of America, but also trying to pander to the area of it. Yeah, yeah. Montana versus L.A. in this case in 4 years. I find it fascinating that the IOC has kind of fucked themselves because they didn't go to that model that LA, who bailed them out in 1984, that said, "Yeah, we'll host, but we're not building all that shit." And then it was successful, and then they told fucking Barcelona and Atlanta and Sydney and Athens and Beijing and Rio, "Yo, you need to build all this shit if you're going to host this goddamn extravaganza." And so much so that, again, only 2 cities threw their name in the hat in 2024. Prior to that, it's always been like 8, 9, up to a dozen.
Well,
that are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And now they're like, why do I want to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars on what you call legacy?
I'll say this to you is we don't realize how old we are and also how young we are. There was a time where those cities needed to put themselves on the map, and the payment for those structures would be the payment to let the world know that this is a place you can visit, full of culture and different people. You can see the landscapes. Like, this is a place for tourism. You should come here. You should visit what we have to offer, and we'll lose money in order for you to be aware of that. I think the global economy is so fucked right now that countries are like, look, you know about us, come here, don't. Like, we're at a time in history where the world's so small that you're a plane ride away from it and everybody knows about it. You don't have to, like, I don't know, like what's okay, you're a better sports historian than I am. Like, what's like the smallest country that got an Olympics in our lifetime?
Well,
or most obscure location.
Olympics. I mean, like you'd probably have to go to one of the Winter Olympics, and I'm not as savvy with the winter as I am.
Okay, well, like
summer.
the Sochi Olympics, like, was what? When was that?
6 years ago.
It was only 6 years ago.
Yeah, because it did. There was Sochi. Yeah. Well, no. You're right. Sochi was. It might have been 06.
But see, that's like a part of,
yeah.
I mean, everybody knows about Tokyo. Like, people don't know that, like, realize, like, oh, Japan's a bigger country than one city. And it's a way to expand your, like, I don't know. And also you see the opening ceremony, like, oh, that's culturally significant and not weird. I'd like to go there. We should check that out. That'll be our vacation destination.
But there's been studies, and again, this video that I watched, that like 3 or 4 independent studies that say that doesn't happen. That your legacy of tourism, then be like, yeah, I'd like to go see that town or go visit that town, is not economically feasible.
Well, I would counter that with, like, but from a political standpoint, it makes you seem more relevant.
Sure.
That your country has more say, has more skin in the game than you thought, because we were important enough to have the Olympics hosted here, so we have some say in this.
Right.
So there's that.
There's also, when I was watching that video, they showed, they would have a world map, and they would, a little red dot for cities that threw their name in as a potential host. And a lot of them leading up to 2024, mostly before 2016, I saw a few times San Juan, Puerto Rico, which I kind of was like, wow, that would be cool. I guess they'd ask Uncle Sam to break out the old checkbook. But a few of them, Havana, Cuba. I was like, really? Havana?
Well, I'd say this. Man, this is a different podcast than we usually do, by the way. Alan, still in Ocean City this week, so he'll be back with us next week, and he'll be able to counter me on all of my political points. But I would say that if, like, Cuba got a different style of government or maybe a different leadership, it would be time for them to host an Olympics, even if it costs money, even if, like, other countries had to pitch in to help them build infrastructure because it'd be like, hey, time to come back to Cuba.
Right.
Like I'd say those games normalize a country that may be on the outskirts. For America, it's a money grab because the IOC knows, hey,
Uncle Sam's pockets.
yeah, they can afford
Or their
this.
fake pockets. they can make money.
They can make money. They'll make it look good. All of the American broadcasting companies will fucking like
Yeah.
promote the shit out of this, and it'll. And they don't want to be embarrassed. They want to prove to the world that they're still number one. Yada yada yada.
Well, they also, one of the again, and this was all hypothetical, the compromises to combat the fact that cities just aren't going to. I mean, even and this is when I say this is like Budapest had thrown its name in there like a dozen times and didn't get it, and finally Hungary was like, "Fuck that! Like we cannot maintain, we cannot lose that kind of money." So they were saying again, this channel was using from different references. They're saying one of the compromises would be just have it in one city every year or every Olympics rather. I was like, oh God, isn't part of the spectacle is a different city, a different country, a different culture.
I think you should. People forget how big America is. Like there's certain, like Switzerland, right?
And again, you and I have done this, and I'm not saying it's like super rare, but I don't know too many other people that have driven from coast to coast in this fine fucking country, and we've done it. And it gets to a point where you thought you knew how big it was, and somewhere just past the Midwest, you're like, fucking hell, does it ever end?
Yeah, no, I mean, even Texas, just driving like into and out of Texas is like, Jesus Christ, how big is this fucking state?
It's Nebraska. I had been to Nebraska numerous times and driving from one border on the east to the other side. I was like, Jesus Christ. And every exit is a mile marker. It's like 477. Fuck this state. Jesus, why didn't the settlers break it up? We could have 100 stars.
Dude, like America, as far as the Olympics is concerned, it's in the running for both winter and summer at all times. What do you want? We got everything.
Well, winter's weird because because Salt Lake City got it again. The IOC, because someone had mentioned possibly like, could you get Lake Placid? And they were like, no, that'll never happen again. That was fun, but the infrastructure is dog shit, and we got through
40
on
years
fumes.
ago. I mean,
I understand that, but it's why Salt Lake City's going to get it again in 2036.
well, either way, I guess my point is like, I think there should be certain regions of the world where you've got like a select few countries that are like, all right, you guys are Winter Olympic candidates.
Yeah.
You guys are Summer Olympic candidates. Put your bids in here, you put your bids in there, and you could, I don't know, you could start narrowing it down and really let people decide on, I don't know, man. I wish the Olympics were less political than they've become, but like everything, they've become political, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at FIFA, the way they did shit. They had to fucking do it at a different time of the year for a country that's so players
South
didn't.
Africa.
Well, we had it in Qatar this year, and like.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
well, I'm saying like because they did it in South Africa in 2010, and it was pretty much winter.
But see, if I'm a player, if I'm an athlete, I think I would prefer to play in colder weather than I would in fucking hotter weather.
That was actually, and I wore his jersey last week. Dennis Bergkamp, my favorite soccer player of all time, he had commented he played one of his group matches or one of the Netherlands group matches in the Cotton Bowl in Texas. He was like, look, I understand that this is a summertime event. I understand it's going to be hot, and I understand that sweat is going to be pouring off our fucking body. That was ridiculous. No human being should be forced to play 90 minutes in fucking that.
Yeah.
In Texas. And now, that they're going to do it in Jerry World, where it's going to be in 2026. It's going to be nice and air conditioned.
Where are they doing it?
The World Cup in 2026.
Yeah.
It's three hosts. It's Canada, United States, and
Okay.
Mexico.
Okay.
Canada has 3 venues. Mexico has 3, and the U.S. has like 16.
Well, why not? Again, why not? Like, I mean, God, man,
Why not? What?
I'm not trying to brag.
No,
got-
we should host more. We have the better venues.
Exactly. But I feel like we get denied. It's like, well, we can't give it to America again. It's like, hey guys, you ever look at how much we spend on everything globally? You got a conflict. Guess who's
Right.
knocking at the fucking door to help you out? We should get your not just we should get your sporting events, but it's like that rich uncle. Like, hey, where you guys want to have Thanksgiving this year? It's like, do you want to force fucking like Aunt Ethel, who lives in a fucking like duplex and
Yeah, that fruitcake is yummy.
on the south side of town where there's no parking? Or do you just want to go ahead and give it to Uncle Jerry, who's got 14 acres and a fucking McMansion, and like you can park on the lawn, and
he's got the vault with the big $sign on it that he jumps into.
Yeah.
With gold chips.
he's got a wine cellar upstairs, refrigerated. Like
it's in Celsius too because he's cultured.
So let's just look. We can either fight about where we do it so Uncle Jerry doesn't get it again, or we can just concede that Uncle Jerry's got the best spot for all this shit and do it there. But I do like the fact that we're doing it like a North American World Cup. I
think it's like Toronto, Vancouver, and I don't remember. They may have went from 3 to 2, and I know Mexico has Mexico City, Monterrey, and it's either Guadalajara or Tijuana.
You mean Guadalajara?
Guadalajara, mi Mexicana woman. By the way, that's one of my mom's favorite bits of all time. Middle class souls. When she says Guadalajara in conversation, she says it like that. So
nice.
Middle class souls, everyone. So, folks, we're gonna get to BuzzFeed's got another great list. 25 common things from back in the day that have silently disappeared without anyone noticing. And I don't know about anyone. I know that I've noticed a few of these things disappear, but that's fine. We'll start off number 1. Those shoes with those little wheels in them. What the hell were they called? Wheelies?
Wheelies, man. I'm actually upset because now I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'd like to try some of those on. But there's a couple of guys on TikTok with my hairline keeping them alive, doing some dumb tricks like for funsies. They seem like a great idea, but I'm also at an age where I need like nice cushion and comfort in my shoes. I can't be having a hard sole with a fucking wheel in the back.
See, I think I saw some punk kid at a Walmart doing it through aisles and stuff, and I just wanted to fucking Randy Savage clothesline him. Not like a set up kayfabe wrestling event. I mean, just like a full on fucking blammer where my bicep hit his Adam's apple, and he
You think I'm more of a
all right, I got to
Bradshaw.
ditch these shoes. Yeah, the clothesline from hell.
Yeah.
And it annoyed because it was like meep, 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 and his parents were nowhere to be found, which I got kind of pissed off, but then I had to realize, like, okay, my parents let me and Dewey cut loose in stores like that, Ames, dating myself, to be exact. But man, like he kept doing it up and down the fucking aisle, and I was like, Jesus Christ, kid.
What do you have a problem with it for? Why you care? What was he doing to you? He was annoying your eyes?
Why couldn't he just walk where he needed to fucking
Because
walk?
he had wheels on his shoes. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? If you have wheels on your feet right now, you'd be fucking around with them.
Because he had no control. He's going to hit somebody.
You're an asshole. I remember watching somebody go across a parking lot with them on, and I was like, oh, man, that's very convenient. Just like casually, just like he's just walking, all of a sudden just... That's fucking amazing.
Payphones, yeah. I mean, I get it. We talked about, I think the last one in the United States got removed in New York City like a year ago.
Man, I still think there should be like courtesy phones, like in specific locations. Kind of like how I have to look for like a Tesla supercharger. There should be like an app that says like free phone.
A 911 or emergency or
Just something. Just somewhere like if you lost your phone, because we're in constant communication and contact with everybody all the time. I mean, like even if it just had a credit card swipe on it, boop, tap it to it, use it, collect call. I don't even. But honestly, like I don't know if anybody else would know how to call anybody anymore.
I don't have their number.
Because it's something that's not on the list is phone numbers and knowing them.
That's it. Like, okay, I don't know your phone number. I don't know your house line number, and but my fiance don't know it.
Wow, I know Dewey's phone number. I could I know that.
Which used to be mine, by the way.
Oh wow, okay.
Back in the day.
I know Calvert's phone number.
I do too.
By the way, only because of the pattern it makes on the phone.
5421.
It's a beep, 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 beep. It's a square. It's just a circular square. So I know that. I know Maria's.
You call them to call us if you had an emergency.
Good point. I know Maria's phone number and my mom's phone number. Then we're done.
Gotcha. Oof. Missing people on milk containers.
Well, I'll say this.
Did that disappear in the 90s? I thought that disappeared like the late 80s.
I think it disappeared when milk cartons disappeared. They went to the plastic jug, and it just became like... Because you got to remember, man, back in the day, like when people could advertise on space and it was printable, they would do it. But I will say this. As a mailman, we deliver this flyer every week, and it has the missing person thing at the bottom. And what they like to do now too is they like to, because of AI, they like to age progress them.
Oh yeah. This is what they may have looked like 10 years ago.
No. They know what they look like 10 years ago. They progress.
Oh yeah, this is what they may look like now. Sorry.
Yeah. And oh man, I wish I had sent it to you. I don't know why I didn't, but like man, I found one of them. His name's Michael Irvin. He works on ESPN. The age progression was just like, wait a second. But I tell everybody at the office, I'm like, listen, when I die, I'm going to put in my will. I'm going to buy up like 10 years worth of fucking missing person ad space on that fucking calendar.
Put it on there. And I talked to a couple coworkers, and it wasn't about missing people on milk cartons, but it was about, we're talking about the 80s, and they were like, oh yeah, you. And I was like, listen, all right, when the clock struck 1990, I was 7. Okay. So I wasn't married to the 80s, but yeah, is it a part of my upbringing, my DNA strand, and my inner being? Yeah, of course. I don't ever remember one time ever in my life cracking open a milk carton, anything from my refrigerator to fill up presumably a bowl of cereal and be like, oh, kid's missing. Shit. Never once.
Well, yeah, but
do you?
What? But if you, okay, I feel like subconsciously if you, okay, this happens, it's a trope in movies all the time where like there's like a fugitive, right? And their faces in the newspaper. And then like the guy at the newsstand's like looking at the paper and then looks up, looks down, looks up, looks down. It's like, oh, that's that guy. And then they start running, like born identity kind of bullshit. Obviously that happened more than once. So they felt like it was a thing. And there was no internet back then. I mean, also a reason these things don't exist is because why? Like if a kid's missing for more than 3 hours, like somebody's got a Facebook post and it's been shared 45,000 times.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, I mean, look, isn't it better to like pretend you're trying to find somebody than not even try at all?
Yeah, as I'm garbling down this Captain Crunch, I'll call somebody.
But you were a kid, like if it, like you should ask your mom this question, like, "Hey, did you ever see a milk carton?" And I mean,
yeah, hey, in Iowa, did you see this? Perhaps obviously it was a thing.
Dude, I saw the most useless like emergency text message. You know, the one that makes your phone sound like the emergency alert says.
Sure.
One went out the other day, and it was like 3 suspects in a Honda Civic one's wearing a yellow hoodie, one a red hoodie, one a blue hoodie. located by this road. And I'm thinking, like, aren't they getting the same fucking text message?
Take the hoodies off.
Hey, Billy, take the hoodie off. Like,
Yeah.
problem solved. We win again.
Right. Paid lunches. The term 9 to 5 used to mean 8 hours, including lunch. Now most jobs are 9 to 6 with no paid lunch, but people still use the term 9 to 5.
Yeah, I got a half-hour lunch.
Yeah.
And it's unpaid. And by the way, no, they take it away automatically. Digitally, so I'm there for 8.5 hours, and after I hit the 6-hour mark, it goes to 5.5 hours work automatically.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I found this out at an old job. If I clocked in, okay, so if I did 4 days a week, 7 hours and 45 minutes, it wouldn't do it. So only unless you get the 8-hour mark. So 1 day a week, I would work 9.5 hours, thus saving myself 2.5 hours a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Look at me. Ringtones. Yeah. I mean, I bought into that. I bought credits to give my friends personalized ringtones.
Never that important to me. Mine sounds like a motorcycle when it rings.
Picture-in-picture television. You don't hear about it anymore.
I don't understand either that one. That one's a fascinating one. I don't even think my TV upstairs, which I bought 2 years ago, has picture-in-picture, and it's a 75-inch TV. And I'm thinking, like, this is the TV for picture-in-picture.
Yeah. It doesn't have it? Or you don't know?
No. Like, if I had two 35-inch or two 32-inch and a half fucking TV screens, William could watch his dumb shit, and I could put the Orioles game on the other side and just have it muted. I don't need to hear people talk. I just watch baseball. Yeah. Like, why? Why don't they do that? Was it really that unpopular of a feature?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I'd never once used picture-in-picture.
Really?
No.
You know what? I got to check my other TV. I think it might still have it. Because what I would do, honestly, like, if Maria wanted to watch a movie or something, I'd be like, that's cool. And I would put the Orioles game on in the tiny picture up in the right-hand corner, and she would watch her movie, and I'd just watch my baseball game.
Nice. Just wheel that fucker out. Get rid of that 75-incher.
Don't worry about it. But again, why is that not a thing? Especially now, you would think that with the modern technology, they could split the audio feed too. Like, I could just put some earbuds in and hear mine.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you link up to that one. Yeah, it seems like the cost accrued would be minimal to to have that an option.
I think they're just probably like, dude, just buy another fucking TV. Just go in another room. Like,
it's more of a sociological and psychological thing than it is a technology thing. The prizes in cereal boxes. I don't know. I haven't eaten. We haven't made float cakes. If we bring it out, we'll have something in there.
We'll put choking hazards in every box. Because that's what happened. Some kid fucking like swallowed the fucking submarine and had to go to the emergency room.
Yeah. 3D TVs to a lesser extent. 3Ds in cinema. I think I did 3D Maverick.
Really? With Tom Cruise?
Yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah, it was
fucking incredible.
Okay. I'll say this. Avatar ruined the 3D experience, because the original Avatar was so good in 3D. And I know this because I watched Avatar in 3D the first time and was like, holy shit, that was amazing. Then I watched Avatar without 3D. I'm like, this is the worst movie I feel like I've ever sat through for 3.5 fucking hours. And then they try to do 3D on everything, and it was just like, I spent $10 extra for this. Right. And I think it just kind of, I feel like Avatar caused TV companies to think that 3D was the future, and then it just wasn't.
Yeah. And then anyone who who salvaged those 3D glasses did it during the latest eclipse. 'Cause that's
Maria saved every fucking disposable 3D glasses that we ever used for any movie for like 5 years. I've got like 20 pairs of those things in a fucking
just in
box
case.
somewhere. Just in case. Yeah.
Kids playing outside. I grew up playing outside, and I just don't see it anymore.
Dude, it's different, man. The world's different. I even as a you were talking about like when it ticked over to 1990, you were what, 7?
7.
I was 11.
I would be 8 later on. Yeah.
I was 11.
Okay.
I don't like William playing outside by himself.
No. Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm like, dude, but I always say to myself, like, dude, you did it all the time. And then I remember, you remember the shit you were doing, right? That's my mindset. You remember the things you lit on fire in the woods unaccompanied by an adult. You remember that, right? He's going to do those same things. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. That was really dangerous and irresponsible. My parents let me out there to do it. So I don't let him do it.
He's going to find fire. I always find it like I'll watch a couple TikToks where someone like recreating your youth and people just ditching bikes in people's front yards. You know, like going over to see your friend and just like there wasn't a bike stand, there wasn't a parking spot for it, and that person's dad got off of work and was like, "This fucking son of a bitch, he's here eating up all my grub, eating up all my Choco tacos." Tacos, where'd they go?
Right?
Yeah. Next couple like freestanding newspaper stands. Yeah.
Put in newspapers. Why would you have a stand for it?
That's right. AOL Messenger. Like what?
Why would you worry about it? You got text messaging. There's no need for it anymore.
Yeah, it went away for a good reason. And don't get me wrong, I got laid a lot out of AOL IM.
Me too.
Hey, what are you up to? I could sneak out of my parents' house. So much in games, cheat codes, unlockable cosmetics, and downloadable content that isn't just a veal microtransaction.
I don't know what any of that means, but they figured out how to monetize all that stuff so they don't give it to you for free anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bugs, especially in the car windshield. I'm somewhat horrified thinking about how much bug juice was on the car windshield and grill when I was a kid. But today, my own vehicle is very clean. Unless this person moved, I've driven places in the last couple of years where I was like, God damn, what did I fucking...
Well,
the mass murderer.
I feel like this might be twofold. I feel like they might be right. There might be less insects flying around, but I also think that aerodynamic technology.
Okay.
Just Google search any vehicle from like the 80s, 90s. Your windshield was almost flat. Like they weren't worried about gas mileage back in the day. Now everything's streamlined, so like the bugs aren't just going whack against the windshield. They're going like whew.
The bugs have a chance now.
Yeah, they got a chance now.
The cicadas are wafting over the more aerodynamic car. That way they can have a 3-week orgy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Or the opposite is that we have just plundered and pillaged our Earth, and there's not much bioorganic life left, and we're all going to die soon.
This one I don't know about. Voiceovers and movie trailers. For some reason, I can't think of exactly when they died. I just remember they were a thing, then they weren't. And I know the Michael Bay extravaganzas, like in a world where insect meets windshield.
Look out! You would have like one. Yeah, no. And when we were growing up, that one guy, I can't remember the guy's name. I used to know it forever. Joe LaFontaine. He was the guy.
Was he the voice of Hollywood?
He was the in the world guy. He was the in a time, in a world. So it would be like in a time where artificial intelligence has taken over. Get down! Look out! The machines rule the world. We gotta fight back. Like that's it, you know.
That's it. Will they or won't they? I always like Crimson Tide was one for me. You remember that movie with Denzel and Gene Hackman? They're on a nuclear sub and there's like a power struggle.
Crimson Tide?
Dude, Gene Hackman,
Yeah.
Denzel Washington.
Okay, maybe I'm getting Hunt for Red October. I'm getting it mixed up. I feel like I've seen this movie, but
Yeah, but that would have been like a great voiceover for that. Like, a thermonuclear sub, the end of the world. Nuclear bombs going over the Pacific Ocean. Crimson Tide.
I ain't following that order, sir.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Nope, not me.
You
Yeah, I
do
think
it or
there's a
you're
few
out of
others.
here, Captain.
That's right. James Gandolfini's in it. God, yeah, you gotta check. That's a good movie. Lifetime licenses. I feel like everything's a subscription now. Yeah, true.
What does that mean? Lifetime licenses.
Like a lifetime subscription. Okay. For instance, I own. I have to go up to my mom's to find it. A token that allows me onto the constellation for the rest of my life.
What, the old boat in Baltimore?
That's correct. Yeah. They don't sell those anymore.
You know, actually, it's funny you say that because, like, Mark Cuban has, like, a lifetime anywhere pass for, like, one of the airlines that he bought for, like, $250,000 back in, like, I don't know, like, whenever he sold his first business for, like, multi-millions of dollars. He's like, I was drunk one night. My buddies were like, what can you get with that? And he said he started calling around all the airlines. Do you guys offer a lifetime boarding fee? And one of them said yes, $250,000, and he bought it. And he's since given it to his dad, but he's like, dude, that thing is more than paid for itself. He's like, me and my buddies like hey, you want to go to Barcelona tomorrow? Like, sure. I'll bring my card.
Let's go look at rummaged Olympic.
Let's look at old Olympic relics.
Play places at fast food establishments. They're
still there,
many, but they still have them. I was going to say that I thought that I've seen a few.
They're pretty plentiful, man. They're just in Elkton. Chick-fil-A's got one. McDonald's actually upgraded theirs. It's like a small, yeah. I actually think those will come back because I feel like the fast food joints, because of Uber Eats and you can get your foods and things from anywhere delivered, I feel like they need that draw back in.
Yeah, I do. The Burger King and Havre de Grace, we used to have a really good system. Every time I went down a slide, I had to take a bite of my burger.
That thing's gone, isn't it?
It's gone, man. That thing got torn down ages ago.
I think it's a Waffle House now, which is kind of awesome.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I don't know about you. When's the last time you went to a Waffle House?
Couldn't tell you.
Underrated.
Should I pay a visit?
Absolutely, and you should just get the one that has everything on the menu.
Okay. All right. Yeah, number 18, Waffle House. No, I'm just kidding. Long distance phone companies and their ubiquitous advertising. Yeah, I mean, but like, I'm starting to get more frustrated as I read this. Like, it's like, no, why aren't they there anymore? Like, yeah, because
they phased out.
Yeah.
I thought of the most depressing career trajectory of all time a few years ago.
Okay.
Imagine it's 1985.
Hold on. Imagine it's 1985.
Imagine a world with no cell phones, no internet.
Sorry, you got me there.
You need a plumber. Where do you go? Welcome to the Yellow Pages. So, like, phone books, Yellow Pages, you're a Yellow Pages salesperson. You are going around to companies, not just to say, okay, here's the deal, man. Listen, again, we're using inflation here. For $35 a month, we can put your name and your phone number in the Yellow Pages. It'll just be type. Or for $150 a month, we will give you a quarter of the page. We will put your logo. We will put a tagline. We will put your number. And we will put your name as the business owner. What do you say? 1995 for $350 a month. We'll offer you all that. 2005. I'll pay you $35. Fucking advertise so I don't lose my fucking job. I get paid a $20,000 base salary. I'm not making any commission right now, Jerry. Can I please just put you in the fucking yellow pages? Now they're gone.
Yeah. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
I'm just thinking the arc of, like, you could go to the bar, you could go to the strip club and brag. What do? I'm a Yellow Pages salesman. Holy shit, we got a high roller in the building. Fast forward about 20 years, like,
hey, cinnamon, ginger, come on.
Give him a freebie. Give him 2.
That's right. CD players. I have a rather large collection of CDs.
Then you're a fucking idiot.
Then you're an idiot. Yeah, you're a momo. And like, I guess, like, does it? Because my car, a 2015, still has a CD player.
Really?
Should those still? Yeah. Should those still exist?
Probably not, but that'll be the last car you have with any of that in there. I don't even have a fucking jack in mine. I have nowhere to plug in anything. It's so wireless.
The aux cord, yeah.
Nothing. It's just like, oh, you got a phone? I know you do, so let's just play whatever's on it. I do worry about that, though, because, like, we've got, I don't know if anybody's aware, we've got some censorship issues that we've been fucking hammering out for the last couple of years. I do worry that one day you won't own any of this stuff, and digitally it'll just go away.
Yeah.
And you won't have, like, it's just gone.
You won't have your library, quote unquote. I mean, like, okay, there's an offhand chance that I might acquire my brother's CRV.
Okay.
And I want to put in. I was looking into it for like $230 or $240. I can do a aftermarket touchscreen that has a rear view camera view and then all the bells and whistles, Waze, everything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it takes away the CD player.
Okay.
I know.
Tell me when you get to the bad part of this.
Exactly. I don't have to make any car payments.
Yeah, dude, fucking do that. Why wouldn't you? Because they sell an aftermarket Apple Play thing, but you don't have Apple, I know. But they do, like, sell, like, an aftermarket, like, wireless rig up that's just Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not all that worried about it. Layaway plans, which I'm sure was due to the rise in credit cards, but still,
they still do layaway. A lot of it is that it's really only utilized at Christmas time. And what it is, parents know that fucking kids are sneaky little bitches, and so they'll make, like, Walmart, like, hide their fucking Christmas gifts in the back until you can, come pick them up right before Christmas.
Because Santa's still real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pagers.
What the fuck's this fucking list? Why would you have a pager? You have everything in your pocket.
I don't know.
Look at this. You see this thing? You see this thing? I have everything ever on this thing that's ever existed. All the information. Yeah. If the Library of Alexandria wasn't burned to the fucking ground, it would be in this motherfucking device. There's no need. Stop it.
Yeah, they need a pager. That's absolutely asinine, ridiculous. It's like it's, I don't know, maybe it's like the drug dealers of the world got whiny titty about pagers. No, I have to be on the grid. There's a couple others. Guys, I'm getting more and more like mechanical credit card machines that took an imprint that you had to sign. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, keep moving. They really fucking...
Yeah. Garage sales in a local newspaper that lists where they are. Does anyone remember coin-operated horses outside of the grocery store?
I'll tell you what, though. One thing that does frustrate me is pinball machines. I love me a pinball machine, but I never have quarters on me anymore. Why would you? Because change. Why don't they put that on the fucking list? Like, there's this one pinball machine at the Arctic Circle in Churchville, where next to the fucking miniature golf course.
Sure.
and they've got a brand new Mandalorian pinball machine. I have been salivating over this thing for God knows how long. I have no way to play it because I ain't putting change in my pocket to go fucking play putt-putt. So, like, it's $1 too, so you gotta have at least 4 quarters in your pocket. If I could just go, boop, and it gave me some credits, then I'd be playing the shit out of that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Little QR code or whatever. That's
Something.
Yeah. Cigarette lighters and ashtrays and cars is the last one. Man, BuzzFeed really let me down here. Okay. Yeah, you don't have your push button cigarette lighter. It's been replaced by a charging unit to charge.
Well, it was always a charging unit. That's the rub here. Is it always provided power? That's how you got the fucking cigarette lighter to get so hot that it could light a cigarette.
Yeah.
They just took the fucking vise with the coil out of there.
Yeah, and then you dropped it and burned something. I don't know, car seat.
Every
crotch.
car I had from the time that I was 16 till about 25 had a circular melted plastic mark somewhere in the car.
And did you ever get to a point where it didn't work? It just didn't like create enough juice, enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
I had one where I literally had to hold my thumb on it, like, 15 seconds. They heat it up pretty quick.
You push it in for more juice.
No, because it wouldn't go or it wouldn't stay. So you just you take the the actual cigarette lighting device and you'd hold it. And sometimes it would get so hot if you didn't fucking time it right, they would start smoking while it was in the fucking. Dude, kids, there's certain things kids will just never know. I mean, God, you're making me miss a cigarette is what you're doing. So stop it.
Sorry. All right. Well, we'll BuzzFeed, you're usually good. This one was kind of a letdown.
It was
apologize,
okay.
folks.
I think they ran out of gas around 15 there.
I think they just got pissed off about things like not existing anymore. Like, AOL Instant Messenger. Like, what? Sorry, AOL died. We apologize.
My best AOL story, though, is that they sent us, they always sent the CDs, the CD-ROMs in the mail, and it's like, free trial. So I would sign up with, a different name every time I got one.
Yeah.
And one day they called to collect. And the lady on the phone was like, your 30 days is up, so your subscription starts now. We're going to need a credit card for... I was like, well, who signed up for that? It looks like the first name is the letter A, and the last name's the letter M. I was like, well, who are you calling? I guess AM. There's nobody here by that name.
Yeah.
I was like, so who are you going to charge? Like, well, I was like, well, looks like we're at an impasse here, so I guess we're going to hang up, huh? And I hung up on her and she never called back.
That's right. Don't tell my parents.
Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Sorry to step on you, Wes. Your Fun Fact Friday, of course, brought to you by our great friend, the Cuckster. Cuckster's on Instagram. You can find him, Cuckster4Life on Instagram. And where is he this week? He was in Biloxi last week.
The Cuckster is in Ocean City, Maryland. He's on the boardwalk. He's if they scavenge up enough money, they're gonna do a day trip to Secrets, and they love them some Dumpsters ice cream.
I gotta tell you, I had Secrets. There's a window. What's the age window for Secrets?
Age? 18 to 23, 4.
Okay. Well, I'd say 21 to 26.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I was gonna say there's a time window too, because I went there as an adult, not too terribly long ago in the afternoon, and had a great time.
Yeah, I had when I was 21. Me and Dron Tandrolonis fucking went there, and we got fucking blasted on some fucking rum runners. I don't know how they crush that ice or what the fuck they do, but man, they are glorious. And there was a band in the back, and they were playing the Doors, Save Our City, Roll, Baby, roll. And I was singing at the top of my lungs, and the drummer took the mic that was by his bass drum and slapped it, and it went right around to my face. and that was the first time I had ever like gotten up and I just started fucking singing. I was so
Nice.
drunk, and everybody was fucking cheering. It was amazing. Secrets of Ocean City. It's an acquired taste. It's a fucking tourist trap. It's expensive as shit. But man, if you're in the pocket of booze, that's the
you'll
place
love
to
it.
be.
You'll
God
love it.
damn. Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Your OMG facts. Did you know less than 1% of books published sell more than 50,000 copies?
Damn, we gotta tell Dewey.
That's the
Hey,
first
man.
thing I thought.
50 G's. It's like a labor of love too, man. Because like, that's writing such a. I don't want to say like a hopeless act.
It's not hopeless. Don't say that. Like if writing becomes hopeless for humanity, then humanity's lost. Like,
You're right. You're right. That's
the
such
only-
an AI thought of me.
That's the only thing we have left.
It's like, yeah, the Book of Eli. It's a great movie. 50,000. Yeah, that's
Less
what
than
the
1%
you know,
sells 50,000.
And then when you talk to someone's like, "Hey, I read your book," and you're like, "Oh, you were the one." Oh, okay, that guy.
By the way, funny you say that. I enjoyed. Did you ever see the A-Team movie, the one with Bradley Cooper and Liam Neeson?
Yeah. Who's the MMA fighter? Rampage.
Rampage Jackson.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought I might do that for one of my good bad movies. I thought that was a great fucking take on the A-Team. And somebody brought that up to Bradley Cooper. It's like, are you guys going to make a sequel? And they're like, no. And they're like, why not? Well, not that many people went to see it. Didn't make a lot of money. And it's like, well, I saw it. I loved it. He's like, oh, well, thank you and your friend. I appreciate it. It's like, damn, man. Like, that sucks. That was a good movie. If you have not watched A-Team with Bradley Cooper, great. I don't even say bad movie. Just great. It harnessed, it encapsulated the essence of the show and brought it to the big screen. When they're fucking like flying the tank,
Oh yeah.
they literally.
They don't tell what's his face.
Oh, they don't. Yeah, they don't tell Rampage. They don't tell Mr. T. They don't tell fucking BA. Like, what are they doing? And Jessica Biel's in that, and she's like, they're like, what are they doing? She's like, they're flying the tank. Like, it's like, of course they are.
49% on Rotten Tomatoes. This actually harkens back to we had a. Speaking of things that ceased to exist, pull cord toys that said something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an A-Team one, and Dylan, our older cousin.
By the way, happy belated birthday, Dylan.
That's right. Would he would fake pull the cord and like, oh, always cheat in school. Be mean to your parents.
That's hilarious.
49% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
And then that's gonna be one of my picks. I'll save
right.
it for a minute. We're gonna do it. I love that movie. I watch it every time it's on. I'm like, it's like, for me, that movie's like you and the fucking Indiana Jones.
Detroit
and
Rock
Last
City?
Crusade.
Oh, crap. Last Crusade, yeah.
Did you know the human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood 30 feet?
Damn. What did they, whew, man, when did they figure that out? Some botched transplant? Went all the way to the other side of the OR
There's
room?
some fucked up people in this world, Wes. I bet there was some guy who's like, let's try this out.
yeah. Let's.
Cut old
We got-
Billy
we gotta-
up in a minute.
We got ourselves a cadaver here. Let's fucking poke at it. No. I was involved. I was doing stuff for OR simulations, and we had like quote unquote blood vessels that were just plastic cords that had blood pumping through it, and there was a couple botched ones where they were supposed to like clamp it down, and they didn't clamp it down enough. The residents, and blood just kept fucking shooting out.
Nice.
Oh, damn, I'm out of focus. There we go.
Dude, you know, what was it? Look this up. There was a place that Benjamin Franklin lived at. I don't know if it was in England or in France. And they recently, in the last 10 years, like excavated it and found like a lot of bodies.
Okay.
A lot of bodies buried in the basement. A lot of bones.
You think old Ben was
Oh, it was illegal to like basically it was illegal to do research on a dead body back then. So
Okay.
they had to go dig up like recent graves in order to do science. So they don't really hold it against him because they're like, well, we learned a lot because of the shit that they did. But I don't know. So like when you think about like human experiments, how did they figure out blood shoots 30 feet at it? Like, well,
the human heart? Yeah.
we had to, go past some regulations every now and
Yeah.
again.
Old Ben wasn't dicking around with kites the entire time.
No, he was not. And by the way, fun fact about that, he had his son fly that kite. The story changed over time. Did you know the sentence, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," uses every letter in the alphabet?
Lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. You want to know how I didn't know that?
What?
Because I've never heard that before.
Really? Well, I knew that because I was in Mr. Goss's fucking typing class, failing the fuck out of it, and I remember typing that a billion times and not typing it very fast.
Oh, typing class. Yeah. I always credit that as the most productive class I ever took in high school.
Most productive?
I learned how to type. I learned how to be a savant on this that pretty much dictates my employment.
I feel like I was in that class at a time where we weren't sure. There was no internet yet.
Okay.
So for me, it was like, this is a waste of time. Like this is a real age fucking definitive line in the sand because you're not much younger than me. But like
Right.
at the time, it was like there were two classrooms. There was one, and the one classroom was what was her name? Miss Strauss, who ended up becoming Miss Risco probably by the time you were there.
Okay.
At the time, she was just banging Mr. Risco, and eventually she married him.
They were digging up cadavers. Yeah.
And Miss Strauss's class was the what do you call that? The electronic typewriter. What do you call that thing?
The word processor.
Word processor. She had word processors in her room, and Mr. Goss had fucking like legit computers in his room. And so there was no notion that this was going to be a big deal. Like, I'll just handwrite things for the rest of my life. I don't need to learn to type. So I remember typing the shit out of that. Actually, I got in big trouble because I had Christopher Rackett have my login so he could do my work for me because he'd always got done early.
Nice.
And then I
There
got
was
caught.
that it's such a Christ, such a terrible joke. Me and our legal counsel had typing with this guy that you're talking about. Someone went ape shit about the fact that there was a B in the class, and he was like, "Oh, if you catch it, you could tell your parents you got a B in typing." I bet you wish there were a lot more A's flying around. Me and Adam were the only two in the class fucking giggling. It's such a fucking dick-headed joke.
That guy had the best job at Cecil County Public Schools. All right, everybody. You know your logins. Complete your
Use
work.
those pinkies. Get the A. Get the A.
That's it. And he just sat there for 45 fucking minutes.
But like my point is, again, like I was not literate with typing, and it was all right. Left hand pinky, A, fucking thousands of times.
I know.
And then every other letter on the keyboard, and now I don't even blah, 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 blah.
Look, man, thankfully the world has started to pay me back because when I do anything, quote unquote, typing, I have an app on my iPad and I have an Apple Pencil and I handwrite everything and then I double tap the screen and it turns it all to text.
Ah, shit. So you don't even type.
No, not when I'm writing.
Oh.
Honestly, because of how bad of a typist I am, I stopped writing for about a decade. And then technology came along and said, hey, champ, welcome back.
You're back in the game.
In a world where
In
typing...
a world where typing meets writing.
Did you know the only muscle in your body that is attached at only one end is your tongue?
I could have, when I was eating some girls out, I could have said that. Drove them into a frenzy.
And
It's like, it's a cantilever.
I call this the tipping point. By the way, watch this. I'm gonna demonstrate. I have such a wide tongue that I was at a concert one time and I showed a girl my tongue and she showed me her tits.
Wow. Hell yeah. I could do the 5 loops. Like,
Wow. Oh.
yeah. Hell yeah.
I was at Cecil College and some guy was like, my biology teacher was like, can anybody fold their tongue in half? And I was like, I didn't know it was a big deal. I was like, meh. He's like, oh my God, you're only the second person in 15 years that's ever been able to do that. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, that's a genetic anomaly. You have a gene that's expressed that, I mean, again, 1 in 15 years. That's impressive.
That's
I'm like,
that,
wow.
and that-
Yeah.
at community college, you'd be like, so I'm special?
Yeah, right.
So I'm
I'm
all
gonna do
right.
great things. I'm gonna do great things.
Look at that.
Look at me.
This is fucking. Whatever you choose to do with that, sir, that's your business. But I'm going to tell you right now,
I haven't
1 in
fig-
15.
I haven't figured out what that greatness is, but I'm telling you, on the horizon. And finally, did you know Mondays are the most unproductive days of the week? On average, only about 3.5 hours of work are actually done on Mondays.
Shocker.
Does not apply to me. Mondays are my most productive days of the week. I have no choice.
What's your least productive then?
Not by choice, but Saturdays.
Okay.
I work Saturdays. I will work
Yeah.
this Saturday. I don't want to say too much about what I do on a Saturday because a lot of it's not work. But I'll leave it.
Fold your tongue in half.
I fold my tongue in half. Maybe play some DraftKings bets. Then I drive around the block, and then I come back, and I maybe watch some AI TikTok videos about John Denver. You know.
You better lose yourself in the moment.
You better lose yourself in the music.
The moment you never let it go. Whoa.
Country
Yeah.
roads.
I do know that it was like one of the Thursday of March Madness is one of the worst productive days in United States commerce.
Well,
And I know that for a fact because when I fill out a bracket, I'm like, all right, guys, 11:56 a.m. Let's watch.
But I honestly, like, the Monday thing, like, I really don't get it because, like, okay, almost everybody has, even I have Sundays off. Like, especially when I worked on the radio, I felt like Mondays were my best day because I had ample time to think about what I was going to say next. I didn't have to cram for anything. I had the most energy I was going to have for the entire week. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I always felt like Monday was my best day. It's like I'm energized. I've strategized. I've got everything I want to accomplish, like, ready to go for this day. And then the rest of the week was like the slog. I always thought Tuesdays were the worst because I kind of like blew it all yesterday. And then I got to fucking worry about the rest of the week.
It is like quasi subjective because I know. I mean, like I know about there was a day where I partied on Sundays
Sure.
to the wee hours and then came in and was like, all right, okay, if I get through Monday, I'll rock and roll on Tuesday.
Like, I feel like Friday would be the worst day. Like, nobody's like,
Yeah.
everybody's thinking about the next thing.
Yeah, why did that is Friday most? But like I don't know, but it can't be close. It can't be like that far off.
I don't think so. Yeah, but also like Wednesdays, like, well, I'll make up for it tomorrow. Like, I feel like maybe I'd like to do this study further. Like, which day is the most productive? Like Thursday, because everybody wants to get shit done before Friday comes, and then
for the weekend.
yeah, and I'll make up for everything I fucked off on like every other day this week.
Got it in on Sunday, and then Monday, whew, boy, football came around. It really hit me over. I couldn't do anything on Tuesday. Wednesday was kickball league. You know, we get a little light beer in there.
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
So we have a lot of social media comments. I will breeze through what I can. Alcohol and parenting hack. Murray, you remember this?
Yes, and is this the one where you were talking about?
Someone told their kid, "Hey, you were allergic to it when
Yes.
you were fucking a wee lad." Vernice on YouTube writes, he could never trust anything they say from the moment he found out it was bullshit. Making up health conditions, that's pretty much top of the things you could do or lie to about a child.
Oh, fuck off, dude. Seriously, like that's a look. You start lying to your kids at a very early age. Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny. We can go down the list.
Yeah.
Alcohol might be the best thing to lie to them about.
Dumb TM 4951 says, real stupid idea that'll just create more tension, resentment towards the parent. Aren't they always going to be resentful?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you let them in on the joke at 21, here's the way you resolve that. You let them in on the joke at 21 and you have a beer with them. Be like, hey, you're not allergic to alcohol. Alcohol just makes you feel fucked up, which you could assume is allergic, but it ain't. It's just your liver fucking saying, stop giving me poison. Enjoy.
Yeah. And then watch them have a hangover.
Hmm?
You know?
Yeah, get them a bunch of fucking whiskey sours and see how they feel the next day.
Yep, told you.
Yes, you are allergic.
My car is spying on me via YouTube. RS Freak Vid writes, it would never be admissible in court. Hardly holds up when cops use radar, let alone a random board equipment of a regular driver who definitely doesn't adjust and properly maintains it.
Okay.
The radar holds up.
Yeah, and the thing that they're missing out on is like, I would say that whatever technology comes out tomorrow is already more advanced than quote unquote radar. Like, I'm not bragging about my Tesla, but if you get in my Tesla, Wes, you will be fucking amazed at what the screen shows virtually. Like, when I'm sitting at a stoplight and a car crosses the intersection, there's a virtual image of what that car is. And it's accurate 95% of the time. Sometimes it doesn't understand if a box truck is an 18-wheeler or not, but it knows it's a big vehicle. This shit's accurate, especially for speed and velocity. They're going to figure it out. The one that pisses me off that I know is, I don't know if it's going to be a part of our comments here, but oh fuck,
Don't speed. You don't have anything to worry about.
Bingo, that's
it's
the
real
one.
Easy. Ethan Cooper 9456.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Fun dude right there. Yeah.
Look, hoot at parties.
I know it may not have been in the clip that we posted online, but there's going to be a point where you need to get somewhere fast and you're not really worried about the law. And if nobody's around, it's a tree falling in the woods, and cars shouldn't be fucking narking on you. And yeah, I don't know. We will have to ask our legal counsel about how admissible in court that is, because you're supposed to be able to confront your accuser.
Confront your accuser, yeah. Let's see here. Mr. Bubbles writes, Mysterious Bubbles. This is the TikTok version, same video. Right. I would have to buy their computer part that does that. Oh, say, excuse me. I'm going to repeat. I would have to buy their computer part that does that. Locate the resonant frequency in it. And make a pulsar circuit that fries anything that resonates frequencies nearby constantly. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like a hacker version of just like frying.
It sounds to me like we have our flat earther that we can discuss the weather with.
Morg writes, what is commendable about following the law if you are unable to break it?
100% agree. That was the other half of the conversation that we had.
Yeah. Your backyard.
Yeah. Like, if the beauty of Lady Law, whatever, the fucking, holding the scales with the blindfold on and all that jazz, like, you're not breaking a law if no one's there to see it. It's a tree falling in the woods, baby. Enjoy life.
Yeah.
I'm so drunk.
Hell yeah. Never Failians writes, this is pretty good. The only way I would be fine with it is if the driver of the car that reported it, excuse me. The only way that I would be fine with it, and that's if the driver of the car that reported the speeder gets a portion of the ticket. Otherwise, fuck no. I'll learn how to disable it myself.
The problem is like, I don't think that anybody knows that their car is doing that. Like, it's what do you call it? It's like a zombie feature. It's just always on. You don't know it, and that's the problem. And I'm willing to bet that somebody like Ford is willing to put this on all vehicles so that police departments will sign a contract to get nothing but Ford vehicles, so that when these things are on the road, it's like, we're helping them out. They bought the contract. I mean, it's just a part of the feature. It just happens to accidentally, every single time you're going over the speed limit, to report you to a local officer. Apologize. In a world where your car knocks people out.
Where cars report other cars. Lastly, there's this was on Instagram, a Florida Wanderer, which I thought was fucking great tagline. And if this becomes a reality, I can guarantee you every car with cameras will be vandalized beyond recognition.
So that's every car that will be manufactured from this day forward. There's not a car on the road right now that has been manufactured since like 2018 that doesn't have a fucking car or a camera on the car. Like, I remember when they first started putting cameras on cars, like, I test drove one. I'm like, man, people aren't going to be turning their necks anymore. Like, this is bullshit. Dude, I don't even look at my mirrors anymore. Like, even when I'm changing lanes, because it pops up on the video screen, I don't even look at my mirrors. It's all cars will have all cameras all the time. So good luck.
Vandalize away. Lastly, the impact of Beastie Boys.
What is up with this?
I don't know. Instagram. The future. Makes a great point. That's because they appeal to audiences. The record labels were already selling. I think he fucked his grammatic up a little bit. Or maybe I can't read. To the machines because they had to come up with a beautiful, iconic sound mashing genres in a way that masses had never heard before because Russell and Rick Rubin are geniuses. And, whoa, white boys.
Yeah, that was the one that got me. Is like, yes, white boys. Like, what are they talking about? Us being white boys, liking the Beastie Boys?
No, the Beastie Boys being white boys.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. In that context, they're 100% right. They're 100% right. They sold records because they were white boys. I will not ever disagree with that. But because these white boys put that music in that many households, when African Americans started being recognized for rap, it was more palatable, and people were like, well, it's just rap. You let me buy the Beastie Boys, Mom. Now I can buy Biggie Smalls. Now I can buy Tupac Shakur. Now I can buy this. Now I can buy that. Yes, it's sad that white people who didn't start the genre got the most famous for it at the time, but it opened the door for the race that deserved all the credit for it to have their records sold at equal level eventually. Didn't happen right away. But yeah, you need some white boys to sell some records to make it a thing.
That's right. Make that money. Make that money. They did.
Am I wrong?
No, I said no, not at all. And Eminem said it's like I didn't have to go to Lincoln High School to know that. We're just talking about his like record sales because I'm white.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, in order for that genre to get off the ground, yes, you need to convince white people who made up, especially at that time, probably what, 92% of the entire American population?
Yeah.
Any black artist, Asian artist, any artist that's not white in America, I'm not saying they need to thank white people, but white people liked your music and bought it, and that's why it was successful. Because if only 10% of the population is buying anything, ain't no record producer, record company in the fucking world going to sign you to a contract.
Right. Or 50,000 people buying your book, right?
Right. I guess I'll wrap it up with this. Good art is good art. It's sad that we have to find a way to promote it, but the Beastie Boys were a great fucking conduit to get your shit sold.
Good point. Good point. All right, folks, you can find us on all your, in a world where you can find us on all your social media platforms at the Middle Classels.
Yeah, there you go. Just stay there.
Yeah. Or at MDL Classels on Instagram,
now
which
you're
is the
confusing
only caveat because Instagram did not let us type out Middle Classels.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. And tickle our tummies at gmail.com.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. Just like us.
Just find it, middle class souls, type it in, it'll pop up.
That's right. All right. We'll be back with Alan next week. Hopefully, presuming he doesn't have a sprinkler convention in Ocean City.
Just had some Smith, a big old glass of
Good
beer.
night.
'Cause I get drunk most every day. I always seem to find myself late. Might be on as fuck, I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick's still up. Well, sometimes I may need a hand when I'm just too drunk to stand. I don't need your sympathy, keep your judgment too. 'Cause you just give it a little pull, and my dick's strong like a bull, ready to satisfy my woman whole night through. I get drunk most every day. Everyone knows Scooter is a gay. Might be on as fuck, I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick's still up. I fell down, but my dick's still up. I fell down, but my dick's still up.